Please now try to think back to what you were doing on the afternoon and the evening of Good Friday. Sometime on that first day of the Easter bank holiday, someone murdered a young woman by drowning and left her in a lake just outside Maidenhead in Berkshire. Now, you'll have read about it, the Shani Warren case. It was one of those crimes that capture the front pages. In part, that was because Shani was young, blonde and photogenic. But you may recall the headlines were fueled by an unfortunate public suggestion by one detective that Shani may have committed suicide, and that despite the fact Shani had been gagged and bound hand and foot. In fact, the night before the murder, Shani, far from suffering depression, had seemed positively happy.
Evening.
On the Thursday before Easter, Roger Pell, an old boyfriend of Shani's, had gone out with her for dinner in Maidenhead. They'd not met for several months. She'd rung him out of the blue. But they both enjoyed the evening and arranged to meet again.
In fact, you can do it like this.
She seemed as happy and relaxed as ever.
I'll learn to master these, I will.
Despite her late night, Shani was up early on Good Friday and drove to Gerrard's Cross to her parents' home. She'd arranged to pick up an extension lead for her electric lawnmower. Shani was 26, the youngest of 3 children. Her father, Joe, works from home. Her mother had gone that Easter weekend to the family flat in Bournemouth, where Joe and Shani were due to join her on Sunday lunchtime.
Here's the lead. I've put a plug on it for you.
Oh,
and,
thank you, Dad.
That should be long enough for what you want.
Great, thank you.
Just as she left, she wondered who should do the driving when they went down to Bournemouth on Sunday to join her mother. Her father agreed he'd pick Shani up from home.
Okay.
Okay, Dad.
Bye-bye.
See you Sunday.
Okay, sweet.
Take care.
Drive carefully.
I will. See you Sunday.
Shani lived just 10 minutes from her parents at Stoke Poges, near Slough. It took her till early afternoon to mow both the back lawn and the front. She planned to take the clippings to the compost heap at her parents' home. Shani shared her house with 2 lodgers, Katie and Fiona. All 3 girls pottered round that afternoon, and Shani seemed to have no firm plans for the evening.
Well, I was tidying my room. It must have been about 6 o'clock in the evening. I glanced outside of the window and Shani was putting the grass cuttings in the black bin liners into the back of her car. She got in the car and drove off down the close.
Just as Shani drove off, her mother phoned from Bournemouth but missed her. She never got the chance to speak to her again. 5 miles from Shani's home at the Taplow Lake lay-by on the A4 outside Maidenhead. At about 10 to 7, someone saw a black car which seemed to be in difficulty. The lay-by is used regularly as an overnight truck stop.
About 1:30, 1:45, I came into the lay-by from the far end. I saw the car, so I dipped my lights thinking it was a courting couple. Drove past it, reversed in behind it, and the car was still there. As I came to put a padlock on the back of my trailer, I noticed the door wasn't shut properly, but didn't think anything more of it, so I just went home then.
The next morning, the driver, Donald Ward, returned to his trailer.
It struck me as being odd that someone would leave an A-registered car with the door obviously not locked, but I assumed that it had broken down and that whoever owned it had gone for a recovery vehicle of some sort. But other than that, I didn't pay any great attention to it.
Many Easter drivers may have stopped on this section of the A4. The lay-by is just 5 minutes from the centre of Maidenhead on the London side. If you did stop or even pass there, you might have seen the car. And the Paddington-Reading railway line also gives a good view of the lay-by. Some 50 trains went past here between 6 and 9 p.m. on that Good Friday. The car was still here the following afternoon.
Me and my wife Carol was coming down this lane, Easter Saturday, about 2 o'clock-ish, 1:30, 2, and we saw the black Vauxhall. And the door was open about 1 to 2 inches. And we just rode past, and about 45 minutes later we turned round and came back, and the car was still there.
At 6:30, a woman walking her dog discovered Shani's body floating face down in the lake. She'd been gagged. Her feet had been loosely bound with her own tow rope. A jump lead was round her hands behind her back. The other jump lead, later found in the lake, had been fastened round her neck. Shani died by drowning. Forensic tests have failed to establish time of death, but it seems likely she died on the Good Friday evening. When police examined the Cavalier, the driver's seat was reclined and a blank card in an envelope was on the floor. Shani's lighter was on the passenger seat. In front, on the floor, were the empty grass sacks and her watch. And under the steering column was an Easter egg intended for Roger Pell. Nearby, in the undergrowth, they found Shani's credit card holder, her tow rope bag, and a thank you card to Roger for the dinner on that Thursday night. When the police tried to move the car, they found it had gearbox problems. The Cavalier's shift selector had slipped, and it could only be driven in third and fourth gear. The detective now in charge of the case is Superintendent John Childerley. Let's get this clear. We are now talking about a murder inquiry, not a suicide.
We have always dealt with this as a murder inquiry from the very outset.
Right. Now, there's no definite motive, is there?
No, there is no injury to the body, there is no property that's been stolen, so there is no obvious murder.
Yet there must have been thousands, literally thousands of potential witnesses. This is Good Friday, this is the A4. There must have been thousands of people driving up and down between, well, after the hour of about 6 p.m. on that Friday evening.
Yes, and we are interested in anybody who drove past that lay-by from 6 p.m. on Good Friday evening. As you say, it was a very busy period. We would like particularly anybody who saw vehicles driving into or out of the lay-by to come forward, anybody who saw the black Cavalier in the lay-by, and anyone acting suspiciously in the area.
Just so that people can get a fix on what that lay-by is, it's just the London side of Maidenhead. It's actually a road in itself, isn't it? In fact, it was originally the A4.
It's the old A4, which has now been bypassed and consists of about 300 yards of old road.
In particular, obviously, you want anybody who has seen a car broken down there, anybody who went into that lay-by. There was a car seen broken down about a couple hundred yards away, wasn't there?
Yes, there was a black saloon car about 200 yards Maidenhead side of the lay-by with the bonnet up and a man looking under the bonnet. We'd be interested to trace this man because this car may in fact have been Shani's vehicle, or if it not, we want to eliminate it.
Right. Now, there are a whole series of other things. She may have, well, she must have dumped the grass cuttings somewhere. Now, thousands of people would have dumped grass cuttings on Good Friday. They'll have been out mowing their lawns. Anybody who looked like Shani, you want to
Well,
trace?
Shani was a very attractive young lady, a blonde 26-year-old, driving a very smart car, and the sort of person you would have looked at twice. We have no sightings of Shani at present time from after she left home at 6 o'clock.
She might, of course, have been seen making a phone call as well.
That's a possibility. If the car broke down in that lay-by, there are two phone boxes about a quarter of a mile either side of the lay-by where she could have made a call.
This is a replica of a fob and her keyring. These are missing, the original missing.
They are indeed, and we would like to trace these keys. We've made a search of the lake and the surrounding area, and it may be that someone has come across these keys and disposed of them, or perhaps they even know somebody who's got them in their possession, and obviously we'd be very interested in that.
John Childerley, thank you very much indeed. If you think you can help in any way, particularly if you've got any suspicions about anyone who acted oddly that night, it's Good Friday, remember. If you might have seen something relevant, if you have any thoughts, please don't just keep things to yourself. Our number, 018118055. This is live, so the detectives are here right now. Or you can ask for the Shani Warren Incident Room on Slough 31282. That's 0753, the code for Slough, 31282.